This is Business LO, a podcast by the Lake Oswego Chamber of Commerce, which connects, educates, advocates, and champions our business community. We have nearly 500 members from international corporations to home-based businesses, and we serve them all. Each episode of Business LO gives insider information to the local business community and the neighbors who support them. And now, let's talk Business LO.
Today is October 14th, 2025, and this episode is going to publish on Friday, October 17th, because that's right before the ballots go out, correct?
They're dropped on the October 15th, so people should be receiving them this weekend.
Okay, so there you go. So, and we might say this is an emergency episode of Business LO because it's all about Measure 3-628 on the November 2025 ballot. Now, joining me is Heather Graves Ramsey. She's owner of Coach to Brilliance. She specializes in executive coaching and leadership development and is the 2025 LOSD Citizens Bond Campaign Chair. And we also have Chamber CEO Liz Hartman, who is she's also a former LOSD board member and was for 12 years. And we are going to discuss this crucial election for Lake Oswego School District, which serves over 6,800 students across 11 schools and is recognized among Oregon's top performing districts by niche. Now, while everything's well maintained, our schools face significant facility challenges: outdated security, fire, and seismic systems, aging roofs, windows, HVAC, plumbing, and electrical. Forest Hills and Lake Grove Elementary are built in the 40s, okay? And with the plumbing embedded in concrete and foundations that cannot be strengthened. Growing demand for STEM and CTE and language programs exceeding available classrooms. To address these needs, the district has placed Measure 3-628 on the November 2025 ballot. Now, this proposed $245 million bond, developed with community input, would, if passed, be the third step in a three-step plan to modernize LO schools without raising the current tax rate. Okay? So with that information in mind, Heather and Liz, let's talk about this. Why is this so important for all of us, and why is it important for our business community?
Part of why people live, work, and stay and play here is because it's safe and because we have great schools, right? Those are the two key things that I think bring people here. And with those two things, it allows our community to be fully engaged. Now, we want our students to be absolutely safe. This is a bond that's being put forward, but it is the third phase of a 10-year planned rollout of taking care of our buildings, taking care of our students, and making sure that we have what we need.
We put the whole ball in motion 12 years ago. And that was when we got a new superintendent, and the board said we have had too much deferred maintenance. So with bond number 1, we addressed the very worst buildings. And then 5 years later, we already have more worse buildings. So this time we will be addressing Forest Hills and Lake Grove Elementary, which, as Michelle said, were built in the 1940s. It is incumbent to pass this bond to get all of our facilities up to speed. And you have the promise from the board and the current administration that they will keep these buildings up.
Someone was talking the other day, I was chatting with somebody, and they were saying, oh, the bond will pass. It always passes. And they're just sort of lackadaisical about it. That's not a good attitude, is it?
Yeah, the only way the bond is going to pass is if people go out and vote for the bond. And this is the bond to vote for because it does not increase your tax rate.
The thing that keeps me up at night or has me wake up at night is, do people just believe that their vote doesn't count? Because here's the thing, we cannot take our hands off the wheel. We cannot just believe that these things pass. We know the yeses are out there. All the polling tells us that, but each bond, less people are actually voting. That's the thing. So if I were to say anything to light a fire under people, it is, look, you need to vote. You need to tell your neighbors and your friends to vote. You need to be that inspiration to say, look, we are here. Things that we can control, definitely local. Let's get the vote out and let's make it happen.
So specifically for the business community, how does it impact the business people that are listening to this show, for instance?
Both Forest Hills and Lake Grove will be seismic, and those will be emergency centers for our people in case of an earthquake or ice storm or anything like that, they're going to be ready for taking care of those folks. And especially in the Lake Grove area where there is nothing there, there's no bigger facilities there for people to go and meet. And I just went to a fire safety thing the other day, and they were talking about how they go out and they help out with other places that have had fires and stuff like that. When there's no there to go to, the community doesn't know where to be. So I would say from a very basic need, that would be one.
If we're talking about business, having a really outstanding school district makes a difference in what kinds of families come here. Keeping our school district at 6,800 to 7,000 students means we have that many families who are going to our businesses or who are business owners or who are supporting the city in many, many other ways. So we like having the amenities that our businesses have here, but we have to have the people to go to those businesses, and the school district has been helpful in that. The school district is the highest employer in the area, which means not only do we have parents and kids shopping and using our businesses, but we also have an employee base of about 600 people.
I would add to that too, the quality of students that are coming out of this school system is just phenomenal. I get to go and engage with them. I do like the mock interview process where we teach them how to interview as we go out there. And even at freshmen who have gone through the system from K through 8th grade, now they're in 9th grade, they are so articulate. They are so community engaged and learning. Like this community does bring those sort of things forward. And those are the people that are going to come out and work for these businesses. We want to educate them, but also keep them here and have them want to live and stay and have their families here. And there is a lot of that. And I think the school system is a huge part of it. As I'm going out and learning more on this bond campaign, I've been to almost all of the back to school nights. I've talked to hundreds of parents, and there's a ton of people who their parents went here, they went here, their kids are going here now. And it's just amazing to have that rooted part, but also an openness to new people and to folks coming in. So I think that is a gift that we have. Now, a basic need that people have is they have to have spaces to be able to do this learning. If we have to cancel class because it's too hot out, if we have an ice storm and we have to remove students from a particular building and they have to go to another, all disruptions to the things that we're doing here. And again, this is why many people move here and stay here is the schools. So we have to take care of them.
Anybody who's on the fence about voting or not, go to River Grove Elementary and see what they have done. It is absolutely gorgeous. Every detail is thought out, and it's so forward thinking. We're not thinking about just for today. We're thinking about for the next few decades and beyond.
Well, the great thing about that building is that it's also an educational tool because it is set up so you can open the windows when it gets too hot in there and that you can measure the temperatures and that the kids are part of the whole building experience. And that is one of the things we've been able to do with these new buildings is to make them part of the education process.
One thing that I'm remembering too, so I was recently at the West End Business Group, and they had a speaker come in and they were talking about how Oregon is really set up for continuing to be a technology hub. We need to have the students that are feeding into that. Part of what this bond is going to produce for us is in both the Lake Oswego High School and Lake Ridge High School, there will be the STEM facilities for those students to do what they need to do. Right now, there is about 150 students that are a part of the robotics club. They're sharing one space, one classroom, and they have no storage room. These students are actively out there engaging in our community. They're doing things to prevent and save people from human trafficking. They're at the hospitals helping people to be able to feel better with they bring their little robot kits and they have people designing those things. These are students that are actively out there and we're giving them one classroom. This bond will get them into two wonderful spaces that have the storage and the access that they need in order to do the work that they're doing and again, becoming that feeder for Oregon to continue in their tech cycle. So I also think when we think of, workforce development, and it's not just at the college level, it does start younger, and this does help support that. From a feeder standpoint of workforce development, we also need to make sure that we're focusing on those career technical education pieces. And again, those are typically things that need to have a specific space and specific facilities to be able to do that. This bond does include those as well, which again, one is helping our workforce and our businesses to be able to have people. Because I don't know about you, Liz, but we hear all the time, a lot of our businesses, they can't find qualified employees.
But we also know that not every child is going to be going to college. And that means you need more career and technical information going on. And that helps our business community as well.
The Learning in Lake Oswego podcast that Dr. Jennifer Shealy and Mary Kay Larson put together, I helped produce it. There's an episode about all of these things, and there's a couple of bond episodes, especially from last year. So if you need more convincing, you can listen to a few episodes of that. And you can hear these children. They are so bright and so articulate, and you can tell they have been given what they need, and that's why they're so great. All kids deserve good schools, good buildings, and great teachers. And that's what Lake Oswego has. So please vote.
We need the community. We need to get out there. So we know that people have every intention of voting, and we also know that that gets lost. The piece of paper, the envelope gets lost, and they forget about it. One thing I'm going to ask is, as a business owner, please remind your people. Now, whether that's your neighbors, you, your family members, your employees, whoever that may be, please remind them to vote, and it's important to do so. If you have a newsletter that you send out, we would love you to include Don't Forget the Vote in your newsletter. The more touch points and the things that I'm learning here, I think it's like 32 impressions versus it used to be 7. So we need to be able to get that word out there, and that takes everybody. So if you can be reminding, if you are able to get out there and volunteer with us, we're doing some canvassing. We're going like Avon. We're knocking on doors. We're talking to people. We're doing that October 19th and November 2nd. You're going to see some honkin' waves. We would love to have some help for those kinds of things. And even just if you have groups that are getting together, if you could remind them and or ask one of us to come and speak, we're happy to. We're happy to come and answer questions or to get the facts out there. Would love to be able to do that. So volunteering, getting engaged, reminding people, actually voting yourselves, please. And then also from a donation standpoint, like it costs money to make these things happen. There's mailers. We have enough funding to do 2 right now. We want to do 3 because those are super important to land at the right time. Digital marketing, we want to be in the Lake Oswego Review, like all of those things that help remind people, that takes money. And I know this is a tough time for a lot of people, but we really could use some support in that funding place. We have about $11K that we're down. So if you're listening to this episode, we would love you to donate. We're going to make sure that there's information in the notes for you to be able to go ahead and click on. Other things you can be doing is you can be sharing and liking on social. There's some amazing videos out there. Liz is in one of them. You need to go check them out. But our social media, so Instagram, Facebook, our website, share those things out there. We're living and breathing this. They are not. We need to remind them. We need to get the word out.
It's pretty easy to talk to all of your neighbors and remind them to vote. If you're not going to go knock and talk, it's easy to knock and talk to your neighbors. So choose 4, choose 6. Just knock and talk and let them know they need to vote.
So timeline-wise, we have ballots will drop on October 15th. You should be receiving them in the mail shortly after, and they are due by November 4th. Our recommendation, just do it right away. Now, one misconception that people have is that they have to go physically down to like one of the voter boxes, like down at City Hall. You actually don't. You can pop that bubby in the mail and just get it done. Do it right away before it gets lost or you forget to do it. This bond is being endorsed by everyone. Like when I look at the back of our flyer here, we have organizations like the Art Council, the Democratic Party of Clackamas County, the Lake Corporation, Lake Oswego Education Association, of course, our fabulous Chamber of Commerce, the Lake Oswego Sustainability Network, our Friends of Aluga Park, educators, coaches, our Lake Oswego Foundation board members, the entire school board and former school board members, elected officials, the entire city council is behind this. So this is something that our community knows needs to happen, but we definitely need to get the word out, help us bring this over the finish line. It's been a 12-year process, as Liz said, and this has been something that we've been planning for a long time, and we just need to make it happen. So get out and vote.
The stamp is covered.
Oh, yeah. It's free.
on the ballots. You don't even have to go find a stamp. It's that easy.
It's that easy. Yeah.
And I just also would love to thank, there's a huge number of incredibly engaged volunteers that are behind this. And although, I'm the chair, I cannot take credit for a lot of the things that are happening. These people are just phenomenal. They're parents, they're business owners. It's just a blessing to be here and to have that support and to have so many people moving this forward.
Well, get out and vote, and thank you for listening. We really appreciate it. And remember that every day is a Chamber of Commerce Day here in Lake Oswego.
The Lake Oswego Chamber of Commerce thanks you for listening to Business LO. We would love to have you as a member so you can help Lake Oswego continue to be one of the best places to live, work, and play. If you want to share an idea for a future episode or become a member, visit us at lakeoswegochamber.com, and please like and follow us on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And for help with your business podcast, go to modcastproductions.com.